Jack Hughes, of course, one of the heroes of the Team USA gold medal winning hockey team that beat, of course, Team Canada in the recently completed Winter Olympics. JP Morosi joins us now from Houston. He has been boots on the ground for us covering this portion in Houston of the World Baseball Classic. JP, the last couple of days have been tough for Team USA. What's the mindset now that they have this new lease on life?
Robert and Jake, good afternoon. I do think that new lease on life is exactly the way that Mark DeRosa and the U.S. players feel at the moment. I spoke earlier today with Bobby Witt Jr. We'll hear from him later on in the show about his emotions. But the U.S. players watched that game last night between Italy and Mexico together, had some dinner, watched the game. They were able to enjoy their evening a little bit once Italy got to that fifth run, because that was the line of demarcation, assuming a 9-inning game. So they were able to get comfortable, settle back in, and you heard what D-Rose said a moment ago. It was a wake-up call for Team USA, perhaps underestimating the Italians a little bit. Italy's got a good ball club. Well, guess what? The Canadians do too. And the Canadians yesterday had a historic win for them over Cuba to be able to finish top of their group. Interestingly enough, the Canadians are going to be in the third base dugout, or the first base dugout here in Houston, rather, the home dugout. They're the home team, the higher seed. So it's an interesting dynamic here where it's perhaps flipped of what people thought it would have been entering the World Baseball Classic. But I think for Team USA now, they can just focus in on playing who they believe are their best 9 players to win these ball games. They've got Logan Webb rested and ready to go. I thought he pitched very well in the opener against Brazil. They're able to make some adjustments to the pitching to bring in some fresh arms. So I think from that standpoint, it is a new lease on life, as D-Rose said, and a refreshed perspective about exactly what is still in front of Team USA. 3 wins to go if they're going to reach their ultimate goal.
JP, you touched on the pitching moves. Go in more detail about the moves that D-Rose and the Team USA made in terms of pitching.
Yeah, so first and foremost, what the basic idea here is they move some of the starting pitchers who were in piggybacking type roles off of the roster. As we have known, and there's been a lot of conversation about this, Tarek Skubal is no longer here. He's back in Tigers camp. It's the same expectation now. Michael Wacha moving off the roster, Ryan Yarborough as well. Interestingly enough, Mark DeRosa also said today that tomorrow's quarterfinal, no matter the result, will be the final game for Clayton Kershaw on the active roster for Team USA. So they're adding in now multiple relievers. Will Vest is on that list. Tyler Rogers is on that list. Tim Hill, the left-hander. And as it stands right now, Joe Ryan from the Twins ace, would join this staff entering the gold medal game if the U.S. advances there on March the 17th. So that would mean that, again, assuming the U.S. continues to win, it would be Webb tomorrow, Paul Skeens for the semifinal against either Korea or the Dominican Republic. Then the final game would be Nolan McLean and some combination of McLean and Joe Ryan, as it stands right now. And the deeper you get, of course, this is also important to remember, the pitch count moves up. You have more pitches to play with.
Yes.
80 pitches being the cap. As we all know, we're a week away from opening day, basically,
right.
once this tournament ends next week. So we're getting closer and closer. Pitchers getting more built up. From now on, gentlemen, it feels much more like a regular baseball game.
Hey, we'll get you out of here on this one, JP. D-Rose said during his news conference he's got 14 guys he feels very confident as far as position players that can win this ball game. Clearly, you can't start 14. What do you think the lineup decisions are that he and his staff are facing as they get ready for Canada on Friday?
Roflo, it's a great question, and certainly I would say by and large you're going to go back to that first lineup that you saw against Brazil for the opening game. Obviously, there's a handful of players that have been in there consistently the entire time. Witt is the shortstop. Judge is the captain and the right fielder. Schwarber is the DH, as you see what they were able to do during the course of pool play. Even in that loss to Italy, by the way, they still had 11 hits, but the one difference was they only walked once. That's one of the most important stats from that first round of play for Team USA. So the key decisions, I think you'll see Harper back at first. Goldschmidt started in the most recent game, but I maintain Goldie started that rally that included the PCA home run. So I think Goldschmidt made a lot of good contributions in that game against Italy. I think Terang, who has had such great at-bats throughout, he'll be there, I believe, at second base in this game. Bregman, who did not play
right
against Italy. He'll be back there at third base. Anthony has been in there consistently in left field. The one decision you probably will take a look at, Pete Crow Armstrong or Buxton in center field. PCA homered twice in their last game. Hard to take him out of the lineup in that circumstance. So I think that will more than likely be the lineup. Anthony, PCA, and Judge. Schwarber the DH, and then around the horn, Bregman, Witt, Terang at second, Harper at first, and probably Cal Raleigh behind the plate as he was in the opening game. You got to like that if you're an American baseball fan, and certainly for Team Canada on the opposite side. It's interesting, talking to some of the Canadian players and staff, in San Juan, the wind was often blowing in, and it was a bigger ballpark. So as a result, the run totals, you might say, well, they weren't scoring quite as many runs as the U.S., and that's right. But the run-scoring environment there was somewhat depressed. So Josh Naylor still could get going. Tyler O'Neill could still get going. Owen Casey, Abraham Toro have been fantastic so far for the Canadians. So it's a much deeper Canadian lineup led by Ernie Witt as the manager. The only manager, by the way, who has been a part of every single World Baseball Classic. So Team Canada, a lot of experience, and now into the quarterfinal as the higher seed for the very first time in their WBC history.
Yeah, Abraham Toro, you talk about him for Team Canada. He's had some big moments and significant moments in that Houston Astros ballpark there, so he returns as a member of Team Canada. JP, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Robert and Jake, thanks so much.